So I've got Arturia's Audiofuse 16 rig for review, and I connected all those instruments you can see here directly to it, so I can jam, I can play synthesizers. And I'm going to show you what's special about it, including the matrix, in just a second. Audiofuse 16 rig is an USB-C audio interface you can connect to PC or Mac. There is an USB and USB-C cable, and also rack ears you can also use for putting the device on as sort of legs, and it works very well, and it also allows for air circulation. I like to have the interface at my fingertips, so I just put it underneath my monitor. It's a complicated beast, so I decided to be up to date and I upgraded the firmware instantly. I installed the drivers and connected my monitors and synthesizers. By the way, Arturia included also some cool software here. There are some effects coming from FX collection, including filters, compressors, reverb and delay. One look at the back panel is enough to understand why this interface is so special. There are as many as 16 analog line inputs with dynamics of 118 decibels, as many as 8 analog outputs offering 120 decibels of dynamics, and monitor outputs with an increased dynamics of 126 decibels, as well as a double set of ADAT connectors, word clock, clock out output, and a set of MIDI DIN input and outputs. Also, there's a USB hub if you need it. I will now play one of my projects created using Poly and Tracker Mini to provide some background music for you. So this is the front panel. The first thing that catches the eye is that some outputs and inputs are somehow duplicated here. For example, the third and fourth output. These have also some additional functions. They can be used for reamping guitars or as two stereo headphone outputs with a separate mix and a common volume control. In addition, there are two component inputs on the front panel, so we can connect guitars, synthesizers or microphones. And when I connect, for example, a quarter-inch TRS plug here, the instrument option will appear on the screen in the second channel settings. And when I connect the XLR plug, an option for phantom power appears. And whatever you connect to these inputs has priority over what is connected to the duplicated inputs on the back, unless we set it differently in the mixer. Next to it, for our convenience, inputs 3 and 4 are placed on a small TRS jack for connecting your phone or a small groove box like Poly and Tracker Mini. Further to the right, we have the main section with a large, cool, quite high-resolution screen. We can select the function, press the encoder and go to more precise settings. On the right side, there is a monitor section with a volume control and a button that can be used to mute monophonize signals or switch to listening via a second pair of monitors, depending on how we set it. Next to it, there is a dual headphone output with a shared volume control. Interestingly, we can also connect any MIDI controller to the interface and configure it so that MIDI messages appear on its MIDI outputs, even when it is not connected to the computer. So the interface will work just perfectly as a MIDI host or a digital mixer during a concert. And also we can control the mixer via MIDI while playing live, so that's very cool. But the question remains, why 16 rig is so special? Well, it was tailored, it was designed with electronic musician in mind. Most people like me producing mainly electronic music or dance music and playing live in clubs, they don't need 8 mic preamps. And mic preamps are expensive, so when I think about competitors, they usually have 8 input interfaces on offer and with 8 mic preamps. So, it doesn't make sense. So here we've got 16 physical, high-quality inputs for your synthesizers and outboard gear, so it is perfect for electronic music production. You also can take it live, unplug from your computer and use it as a mixer. So they thought about every use case and they designed it very well. So this is why it is special to me, and I will show you the matrix now. This is Audiofuse Control Center. It lets you monitor what's on your input and outputs in the first tab. So now you can see that there is some activity on analog in 5.6, and also it will be visible here. So you can take control, you can click the encoder and sorry, not this channel, and change the level if you need to. And of course, channels 1 and 2 have dedicated buttons which make things just easier. And in the lower pane, you've got your outputs. So as you can see, I'm using high impedance headphones on my main headphone output, and I'm also using analog 3 and 4 for alternative headphone outs, stereo ones, and also I could use it as direct through or reamp outputs if I like to. Some additional settings can be found here. You can change the basic parameters here, but also you can set up your second pair of monitors here. Just choose out speakers, set the trim and the output, and that's just it. Just to make sure we are on the same page, Arturia 16 rig does not have any DSP built in, and to be honest, I don't really think well, we need it, because most modern groove boxes like polyends or electrons, they give us plenty of control over the sound. We can choose samples, we can, carve samples, EQ it, or, filter it. So we don't really need compressors for that. And most synthesizers have some kind of built-in reverbs or delays. And also, if you think about creative playing, a delay you would use in breakdowns or to build up things, you'd rather have a physical thing with knobs and stuff for playing live. So I don't really think we need it, and it probably would make this interface cost twice or twice more. So yeah, so I think they made a good decision here. It's time to talk about the matrix. I've got some more audio examples for you here. I'm using the new Pigments 5, and I programmed this drum and bass here. Also, I'm using Machine rolling tides and decoded from expansion packs. Okay, let's go. Here's the matrix, and up here you've got all your sources, so all analog inputs, all digital inputs, and all USB sources. So these are sources from your computer. These are basically outputs you can configure within your DAW. And here on the left, you've got all your analog outs and all your digital outs, including those USB outputs. So, usually you don't want to hear in your monitors just outputs first and second from your DAW, or you don't want to hear just signals from, first and second input in your monitors. Usually you want some kind of mix of those signals, and that is why you can use the main mixer here. There are basically three mixers. There's a main mixer, there's the Q mixer here, and also there is some kind of aux mixer. So let me show you how it works. So this is the main mix, and the way it is set up is that you choose the channels you want to see here. So if you want to see all your analog inputs, just go ahead and make them visible. If you want to have more computer outputs here, it's totally up to you. So I'm just using the main outputs from Machine, so this is USB 1.2, and as you can see, it goes straight to the output, and also it goes to the aux 3 and 4 using the link function here. So I can listen to this Machine on my headphones, but I will not hear the signal from the first two inputs, from the mic, for instance. So this is the way I set it up here. I could also use the Q mixer here, and I could use aux 1 and 2 for the second headphone output, so it's totally up to you. So there's actually lots of things you can achieve within the matrix. It's very intuitive and it's pretty powerful actually. And it's the same here in the Q mixer. It's also totally up to you what you're going to hear in your Q mix. If you don't want to hear your analog outs, just disable them. If you just want to hear the signals from your computer, just configure it like this, and you're done. let's check the latency. I am using one of my Machine projects, and here I have, I think, 6 or 7 instances of new pigments, and look, these are my latency settings. 8 samples, and that gives me 132 samples and only 3 milliseconds and only 1 milliseconds at the input. So the round trip is around 4. And I could even go lower, turning off the safe mode, but I just don't want to do that because I'm simultaneously recording the video, so it will probably stop. But it works rock stable, so you can rest assured that this interface will not disappoint. Well, if you've got this far, I would like to invite you to subscribe to my channel. I actually intend to do some more stuff on playing live and mangling samples using some groove boxes and Machine. So I hope to concentrate more on arranging music next year. So stay with me and hopefully we'll make some cool music. So back to the settings. As you can see, all those things I just explained to you can be actually set from the panel here. So let's take the Q mixer. By the way, the Q mixer can be turned on or off by double clicking. And now I can also set the channels I wanted to be visible in the mixer. So I didn't mark any analog or ADAT inputs, I just want some sources from my computer. So the way to go is just choose mono or stereo outputs and those channels will appear in the mixer. It's that easy actually, and it works the same for the mixer. And the main view here lets us save presets for the whole unit, and also, get to some basic settings, including monitoring and of course MIDI, because in standalone mode the signals that appear on the inputs can be routed to the outputs of the interface. So this is very, very cool. And the coolest thing about this interface is that you can unplug it from your computer, switch into standalone mode and use MIDI controller of your choice to set the volume, panning, auxes and solo mutes with just MIDI. You connect the MIDI controller to the interface and it works. Look, I have a MIDI learn here. I'm choosing the fader on channel 5 and I'm moving the fader now. So now when I switch to the main mixer, you can see that this channel is moving. Of course, you can set the channel as stereo channels or as left and right. It depends what you're after. So now I can control the volume on my left and right channel. I can also solo them separately as well as other channels. And if I've got more channels, I can switch between pages. And there is no limit to the pages, as far as I know. And of course, if it's in standalone mode, you will not see computer sources here. So everything can be set up here, and it works just great. One last thing, you can use all inputs, including virtual USB inputs, as your DAW inputs. So to record simultaneously from all inputs, and also you can route things to different outputs. So look, all outputs are available here, and you can also set loopbacks. So for instance, I rerouted the output from the main mixer also to the inputs USB 15 and 16 inputs. Why? Because I am using those inputs not only to record signal from the mic, but also to record music or the output of the mixer from USB input 15 and 16. And look, all those inputs and outputs are visible here in your Windows system. So this is great. I've seen it only in RME interfaces, so it's great that Arturia also made this so flexible. Yeah, so I'm going to be honest with you. When I first saw Arturia 16 rig, I thought, well, it's, a rack interface. It probably has some more inputs or outputs, what's the deal, And when I got it, I realized how wrong I was. It's super well thought through, and it's tailored for music, for producing electronic music. This is, I think, maybe there are other ones, but I don't know. Write in a comment if you know any. There is an only audio interface that has 16 high quality inputs at this price range, and these are very high quality converters there. You've got 118 decibels. It's more than some RME interfaces or other very well known interfaces on the market. And let's be honest, it's more than you would need to record your noisy synthesizers. So it's great. Also, the two preamps you have on the front are also great, very clear, very low noise floor. So you can use it for professional recordings. And also you've got super high quality monitor outputs with 126 decibels of dynamics, which is kind of among the best interfaces on the market. Well, if you ask me about my Antelope audio I'm using on a daily basis, Antelope still has an edge. It has 130 decibels, so it's a mastering grade converters there. So yeah, the sound is a little bit more crispy and it has a little bit more clarity to it, but here, well, I'll have to compare it with Claret Plus or Universal Audio or other high quality interfaces to maybe spot any differences. So it's great. And the only thing I would like to see a little bit better, maybe headphone outputs, because they have only 110 decibels of dynamics, and well, they sound very good, but it's not an audiophile. They're not audiophile converters, So if you've got headphones like DT 770 or 700 Pro X, 900 Pro X, or you've got Sennheiser's HD 600 or 650, you'll be fine and you'll be happy. However, if you have like super high quality headphones, maybe Neumann headphones or some HD 800S or like me or other very, very high audiophile headphones, you might want to use two high quality outputs of Arturia to connect to some kind of external headphone amplifier. But other than that, it's great. Function-wise, it's great. Latency-wise, it's great. You can use it as a USB to MIDI converter. You can use it live without a computer, and even you can control it via MIDI. The mixer is available. You can set most things using the system. Also, it looks cool and it feels cool. It looks like it is floating on those orange legs. But it also is much more convenient to grab this volume knob here than as if it was standing without those legs, So they thought about everything. It looks cool, it feels cool, and I had no problems with this interface during installation, no problems during a firmware update, no problems configuring the matrix. No problems with latency. Literally, it works flawlessly. So this is one of the best interfaces I tested, so I really like it. And if you need more than 8 inputs to record your synthesizers, then it's probably the best choice. Usually most companies offer 8 input interfaces, and you have to connect other ADAT expansion to get more, and usually it's more costly, and also the converter quality is usually lower because you have to pay for those microphone preamps you don't really probably need. And if you need to record vocals or some stereo sources, you've got 2 preamps here, and they are really great. They are crystal clear, and they also have very noise floor. So yeah, so overall great interface with very good value for money, great value for money actually.